A new Hill-HarrisX poll found a plurality of voters, 42%, believe that someone is fully vaccinated after 2 shots of Moderna or Pfizer and 1 Johnson & Johnson, and a third believe it is after the booster shot. 18% are unsure, and 9% say someone is fully vaxxed after 1 shot from either vaccine maker. Though with the onset of the new Omicron variant, the official definition of fully vaccinated may change again. While speaking from the White House after the first detected Omicron case in the United States, Dr. Anthony Fauci said the person who contracted the strain was fully vaccinated but had not yet gotten a booster shot. And as I said earlier, I think that was because they were not supposed to get one yet. They was not outside of their 6-month window. I mean, yeah, everybody's talking about whether you're going to have had a booster shot to be considered fully vaccinated. Obviously, there's no... Well, I mean, some people want there to be an official kind of passport scenario, but there really isn't an official passport scenario now, so it's just...
Not nationally.
Whatever you consider fully vaccinated
New York
to be.
basically has one, right?
Yeah.
I mean, in order to participate in most things in New York, you've got to have... you got to show your card. Or your,
right. Although when I was there like a month ago, and I have a picture, like a screenshot of my vaccine card on my phone, and I just show that when people ask, and that's always been good enough so far.
Fine. Yeah.
So
I think the word fully is probably not the right word because fully implies finality, but you can't have finality if time comes into play. And once it became clear that there was a significant waning over time, even if it's still highly effective in the 70% rate, it's not in the 90% rate. So as long as the amount of time away from your 2 shots or your 1 shot has a relationship to how immunized you are, then the word fully just stops making any sense.
Yeah.
Even if you get a booster, okay, now you're fully vaccinated. Okay, let's say you're fully vaccinated on the booster side of it. But then what about 6 months from then?
Right. You're never fully vaccinated against the flu because people are supposed to get a flu shot every year.
Right. And also, if something isn't 100%, the word fully is a little bit counterintuitive anyway. Like it's not exactly what, people think, well, I'm fully vaccinated, well, I'm fully immune. No, that's not what it means either. So...
I really think we have to move away, or we're moving into the phase of the pandemic. I mean, we're there already, where, look, take appropriate measures to protect your own health, but for the most part, it is you being responsible for your health. Because before we had the vaccines, the concern was, well, maybe you'll be okay if you get sick, but what if you give this to someone else and then they die? And that still can happen, but that theoretical other person, they can get vaccinated and have a lot of protection against the severe disease element of it. So if you don't want to do more things at this point, maybe that you're taking on some risk, but you're not putting others at risk so much to a degree, because those others can protect themselves fairly well. It's not perfect, but that's just kind of the reality we're in. It's as good as it's going to get. Maybe it'll get better because we'll have better therapeutics, that kind of stuff. But we just can't wait forever. I was just tweeting about saying that, I don't understand why the travel restrictions make sense if it's already here. And someone said, well, we buy time to do more research. We could do that for 100 years. You could. There's always a little bit of extra value you can squeeze out of waiting. But what about the people who have been locked down or masked up or socially distanced for 2 years, 3 years, 5 years, 10 years? When is it enough? I think it's enough.
Right. And I think that's the right calculation to make. I just think that people do need to remember that if somebody's 65 and up, is fully vaccinated and has a booster and gets a breakthrough infection, there's still some chance that they could have a very bad or a lethal reaction to it. And so for me at least, you want to do as much as you can to not be the person who spreads it to them. Now, you could still get a breakthrough infection and you can still spread it to somebody even if you're vaccinated, but you have less of a chance of doing so. And that's why I say do as much as you can to reduce the risk of that. So, you can get into a car accident going the speed limit with your seatbelt on and doing everything but you reduce the risk of getting into a car accident by driving as carefully as you can.
Right.
So people have this kind of all or nothing thing. Well, you can still transmit it, and it's still to then get away from any responsibility for anything. So, but yes, I think people should think seriously about this stuff and what risk calculation they're willing to take, not just for themselves, but for other people as well.
And I agree with that to the extent driving carefully and wearing your seatbelt is the equivalent of getting a vaccine, getting a booster when appropriate. I absolutely advocate for people to do that. But you could also, you would never be in a car crash. You would never be in any risk of ever hurting someone in a car if you didn't own a car, if you never drove your car whatsoever. And that's what if we're doing travel restrictions and lockdowns and mask mandates and those permanent, you cannot enjoy something of life. Ongoing because of some small risk to other people, but real, but small and declining, and that is the part we just have to say no more to.
Yeah, I agree, and the more people that get vaccinated, the less we have to do that too.
Yeah.
So there's an interplay there.
Absolutely. We'll have more Rising after this. Stay with us.